Hello, welcome to another session. In this session, I have a talk about the one of the biogeochemical cycle, that is the carbon cycle, and this is the one of the gaseous cycle because the carbon which present in a gaseous form, that's why it is known as the gaseous cycle. The main source of carbon, which is the carbon dioxide, and the carbon which present in our atmosphere as well as sea water or the water. The main reservoir of the carbon dioxide, that is the atmosphere. Atmosphere, it has about 0.03% of carbon dioxide. So let's start. What is the meaning of carbon cycle? As you all know that biogeochemical cycle means the cyclical movements of nutrient, the cyclical movements of the chemicals from biotic system to the abiotic system, which is known as the biogeochemical cycle. And here the meaning is same. The cyclical movement of carbon from biotic system to abiotic system and from abiotic system to biotic system, which constitute the carbon cycle. So in this video, I am going to talk about how carbon enter into biotic system and how carbon enter into abiotic system. That's why here the carbon cycle I am going to talk about in a two heads. The first head, how carbon enter into biotic system, and what are the different methods how carbon enter into the abiotic system. So there are two methods by which carbon enter into biotic system. One is the process of photosynthesis, another is the process of formation of cell in case of marine animals. So look at this picture. The main source of carbon, which is the air and the sea, and the carbon dioxide from air which enter into biotic system, that is the plant as well as herbivores, carnivores, means the animal. So the carbon dioxide or the carbon from air enter into plants and which transfer to animals by the process of the food chain. So start from this side. So carbon dioxide which is utilized by the plant for the process of the photosynthesis. The photosynthesis, this is the process by which plant prepare carbohydrate food matter. So the carbon of carbon dioxide now incorporated into carbohydrate food matter. Such carbohydrate food matter which convert into lipids and protein. So the carbon of carbon dioxide now convert into carbohydrate, protein and lipids. If the plant which is eaten by the herbivores, then such carbon transfer to herbivores or the animals. If the herbivores eaten by the carnivores, then the carbon which transfer from herbivores to carnivores. So the carbon dioxide which enter into, or the carbon which enter into plants because of the process of the photosynthesis, and such carbon which present inside the tissue of the plant and the animals in a form of tissue, in a form of plant matter, in a form of animal matter. The carbon from plants which enter into food chain by the process of eating and being eaten is the one heading, that is the flow of carbon into biotic system. One is the photosynthesis. The second thing, the carbon also enter into biotic system through the formation of cell. The carbon dioxide which present in the seawater in a dissolving condition, and such dissolved carbon dioxide which is utilized by the protozoans, some of the mollusks, some of the coeluroids. So different types of marine animals, they utilize the dissolving carbon dioxide for the formation of cell or for the formation of the calcium carbonate. And such calcium carbonate or such carbon which incorporated into calcium carbonate, and such calcium carbonate stored inside the celled animal or the cells of the celled animals. Cells means the outer cell covering of the mollusk. So these are the two methods by which carbon enter into biotic system. So here carbon which enter into plant through the process of photosynthesis, and this is the carbon in the sea and which enter into the animal cell by the process of formation of cell or the calcium carbonate. So these are the two methods by which carbon enter into biotic system. And this is the another heads in which we are discussing about how carbon enter into abiotic system. There are different methods. One is the respiration, one is the decomposition, from cells and coals and forest fire. So these are the different heads from which carbon enter into abiotic system. Let's see here. So this is the abiotic system, the carbon dioxide in air, and this is the biotic system, plants and the animals, herbivores and the carnivores. How carbons coming from such a biotic system to the abiotic system. The plant, some portion of the plant carbon which deposited in a form of coal. So by the combustion of coal which release carbon dioxide into air, it means that carbon dioxide now released or carbon now released into abiotic system. So this is another heading. The plant products or the plant body, by the firing of the plant body or the wood which releases carbon dioxide into air. So by the forest fire, carbon released into abiotic system. This is another heading. These are the respiration. So these are the plants and these are the animals. They are the living animals. So by the process of respiration, carbon ultimately released in a form of carbon dioxide into a biotic system, that is the air. So the plants, this is the respiration, and the herbivores, this is the respiration, the carnivores, they respire and release carbon dioxide into air or into a biotic system. So this is the half portion of the cycle, and this is another half portion of the cycle. Let's see this picture. Here the carbon dioxide which present in seawater in the dissolving condition, and such carbon dioxide which is utilized by the animals, by the marine animals, and they convert the carbon from the sea water and convert into calcium carbonate and store in a form of cells of the animals. So how carbon dioxide convert into calcium carbonate and they are deposited or they are stored inside the cell of the animals. So let's see here, this is the reaction, the formation of cell. The carbon dioxide which dissolve in water and which forms carbonic acid. So CO2 plus H2O which forms carbonic acid H2CO3. Such carbonic acid which break into H plus and HCO3 minus. This is the bicarbonate ions. When the bicarbonate ion HCO3 minus which react with the calcium ion Ca plus and which forms calcium carbonate. This is the calcium carbonate CaCO3. So the dissolving carbon dioxide which is utilized by the animals and which form the calcium carbonate, and such calcium carbonate stored in the cells of animals. It means that the carbon of carbon dioxide C of the CO2 which incorporated into calcium carbonate. Now the big question is that how such carbon from calcium carbonate released to the sea water or released to the abiotic system. This is the abiotic system and these are the biotic system. Such celled animals, after the death of the animals, celled animals, the cells which may deposited as a form of sedimentary rock or which forms the sedimentary rock, and such sedimentary rock it may dissolve by the sea water and the erosion of sedimentary rock taking place and which releases carbon dioxide into sea water by the reversal reaction. This is the reaction and the reversal reaction. So by the reversal reaction, such carbon of the cell of the animals release into the seawater. Reversal reaction means such calcium carbonate which break into bicarbonate and the calcium, and such bicarbonate and calcium which convert into carbonic acid, and carbonic acid which break into carbon dioxide and water. So this is the reversal process. So by the reversal process, the carbon of the calcium carbonate or carbon of the cells of the animals released into the seawater. And this is the animals. These are the marine animals. Obviously, they respire. So by the process of respiration, such animals also release carbon dioxide to the seawater. So this is another process by which carbon released from the marine animals to the abiotic system, that is the seawater. The celled animals, after the death of the celled animals, such animals decomposed by the bacteria. So by the process of the decomposition, which releases carbon dioxide into seawater or into abiotic system. So this is the another process of the decomposition. So after the death of the plants as well as the animals, all become the food of the decomposers, and by the process of decomposition, the dead body decaying, and which forms or which release carbon dioxide into the air, into the abiotic system. So this is the whole cycle of the carbon. So here we are discussing how carbon flow into abiotic system. One is the respiration, by the respiration of animals, by the respiration of plant as well as animals, release the carbon into the abiotic system. Another is the decomposition. So these are the plants and the animals. After the death of the plant and the animals as well as the celled animals in sea, all become the food of the decomposers, and by the decomposition process, the complex food matter convert into simpler form and releases carbon dioxide into the abiotic system from the plant body as well as the animal body. Another process, the from cell. So from cells of the celled animals, by the reversal process, the calcium carbonate convert into carbon dioxide and released to the seawater. And such carbon also released to the abiotic system from the coal. So by the combustion of coal, the carbon released into the abiotic system. Another may be the forest fire. So the forest fire, this is the main cause of the releasing of carbon dioxide into air. So this is the flow of carbon from abiotic system to biotic system, and from biotic system to abiotic system. So this is the flow of carbon from abiotic system to biotic system, and from biotic system to abiotic system, which is known as the carbon cycle. Thank you for watching.